What are Spurs' problems at the number 6 position? In recent months, a lot of focus has been on Tottenham's struggles in their number 6 position, with questions being asked if Spurs' current midfielders have the suitable skill set to carry out the role effectively. But are those questions warranted? Is the criticism of the midfielders and system fair? And is Spurs' number 6 actually a problem? But first, please subscribe to the channel if you are new. Please also like the video if you can, it really helps us grow. Please also comment down below who you'd like to see Spurs use as their number 6 going forward. But without further ado, let's get into it. First off, we need to identify some of the key responsibilities and traits of a traditional number 6. A number 6 is essentially the player at the base of a midfield structure, and whilst the nuances of the role varies from club to club, their position on the field means they typically act as the central hub of all their teams' play, both in and out of possession. A number 6 is the pivot which the rest of the team revolve around. For Spurs, their number 6 is crucial in helping the side transition the ball from defence to attack in build-up, whilst also ensuring they're consistently patrolling the midfield area, able to cover ground efficiently to sweep up loose balls, cut out passes into forwards, and contest 1v1 duels to win possession. This not only requires a high level of technical and physical skill, but also positional discipline and game intelligence, traits which are most needed in Spurs' rest defence. As we've discussed before on the channel, rest defence is the shape your defence sits in whilst your team attacks, and is hugely conducive to an effective counter-press. For instance, if one player is out of position in rest defence and the ball is turned over, the entire defensive structure would be affected and would therefore make it difficult to quickly swarm opponents, to recover possession and leave the side vulnerable to opposing counter-attacks. Positional discipline in the number 6 is especially vital due to Ange's system, which sees his back 5 set up in a 2-3 shape when in possession, with 2 inverted fullbacks either side of the 6. But whilst this does provide support on either side of the midfielder on paper, the fullbacks' attacking freedom means they're often taking up spaces in number 10 positions closer to the front line, rather than in those midfield areas. Consequently, this leaves the 6 with a vast amount of lateral space to cover all on his own, making it easy for opponents to bypass in transition with a simple 2v1 overload. Of course, this can be stopped with elite defensive awareness, ball-winning ability and covering of ground, traits which have been shown at times by the likes of Bissouma, Sarr and Bentancur. However, it's extremely tough for them to maintain that level consistently. Therefore, in the instance in which the midfielder can't get to the ball in time or is caught out of position following a wayward pass, the space in front of Spurs' centre-backs can be almost completely vacated. This has been an issue on multiple occasions this season, and almost certainly would have ended in more counter-attacking goals conceded were it not for the recovery defending of Van de Ven and Romero and quality shot stopping of Vicario. This has been most apparent against sides in compact mid or low blocks that look to restrict space and spring counter-attacks. It's in these games where the in-possession requirements of the number 6 also become prominent. Whoever plays there must be able to resist pressure and help transition the ball in build-up, traits which Bissouma has frequently shown when receiving the ball with his back to goal, before swiftly evading his marker and carrying the ball forwards. However, whilst this is hugely effective against high-pressing sides, it can become somewhat redundant against the types of systems mentioned earlier. Against these opponents, Spurs need someone at the base of midfield to reliably and consistently play a wide range of passes to help break down defences. Whether it be a punch-line breaking pass into players in pockets of space, or ranging switches of play to quickly move the ball wide and stretch the opposing back line. In contrast to press resistance, this is something that Bissouma lacks and has been a constant sticking point when considering his fit in the number 6 role. And although Bentancur has the technical ability to play these passes, he's occasionally shown he lacks the mental ability to know when to play them. He also doesn't display the same level of ball retention as Bissouma due to a lack of awareness when receiving with his back to play. Take the Uruguayan's recent games against Brighton and Brentford. Against Brighton, he looked all over the place when under pressure and gave the ball up on multiple occasions in the defensive and midfield thirds. Meanwhile, against the compact block of Brentford, he often tried to force passes into attackers and positioned himself far too close to the forward line, meaning he frequently turned over the ball easily and he wasn't in the right place then to win it back. As for Bissouma, his restricted passing range means he's prone to play short, safe balls rather than look to penetrate lines himself. And although this doesn't lose possession, it becomes tedious and useless against set defences as the game wears on. This tends to result in him trying to engage defenders and use his dribbling ability to create chances in congested spaces, which again pushes him too close to the front line. This tends to cramp space for others but also leaves a lot of space behind him for the opposition to exploit. Bissouma's weaknesses were somewhat evident in the home loss to Wolves, but the problems at number 6 were more down to structure in that game rather than the Malians' adequate performance. As we've outlined in this video, in order for Spurs to effectively continue their way with their current tactics, they need a number 6 who can consistently display excellent press resistance, excellent ball retention, passing range, decision making, as well as positional and defensive awareness. This is an extremely rare skill set and often only found in world-class midfielders, therefore making it very difficult to find a suitable profile on the market. However, as midfielders in Spurs' current squad do individually boast some of these key attributes, they could look to sign someone whose strengths would complement a midfield partner and mitigate their weaknesses. This could be a deep-lying playmaker type profile to pair with Bissouma's fantastic ball carrying and press resistance, or with Sarr's elite athletic ability. Or it could be a duel-winning specialist who can provide Bentancur with more freedom to influence play in all thirds. This would require a slight tactical tweak to more of a set 4-2-3-1 with a 3-2 rest defence rather than a 2-3 to provide more defensive stability. After all, Ange has previously outlined his beliefs of a fluid midfield with no set number 6 or 8, and this switch isn't too dissimilar from the Australians' current system. Furthermore, it still may be deployed using the current squad, with Ange expressing in the past the ideas he had for a midfield consisting of Bissouma, Bentancur and Maddison. All in all then, Spurs' supposed number 6 problem can be solved, but unless they can find a remarkably well-rounded number 6 profile, the solution to Ange's defensive-minded issues may have to come in a slight tactical tweak.